Rarely need to attend? Rarely need to attend? I like to read on the bus. I like to read on the bus. Do we record these sessions normally? Do we record these sessions normally? Should laugh often. Should laugh often. Doesn't it work often? Doesn't it work often? Can you take daily notes? Can you take daily notes? Can you tell me why it's so late? Can you tell me why it's so late? I'm not sure I can trust you. I'm not sure I can trust you. His wife is a geologist. His wife is a geologist. This problem is difficult to solve. This problem is difficult to solve. Was your brother a cleaner? Was your brother a cleaner? Was I in intensive care last year? Was I in intensive care last year? My neighbor was a juggler. My neighbor was a juggler. Toy, toy, will you come in at night? Will you come in at night? The car broke down on the highway. The car broke down on the highway. I would reflect immediately. I would reflect immediately. We will not focus. We will not focus. I will be working. I will be working. Do they get points often? Do they get points often? I don't think that shirt belongs to you. I don't think that shirt belongs to you. A physiologist a century later, right? A physiologist a century later, right? His brothers were translators. His brothers were translators. Is my stepdaughter a carpenter? Is my stepdaughter a carpenter? He is a devoted father and spends a lot of time with his children. He is a devoted father and spends a lot of time with his children. Do not hesitate to contact us if you have any questions. Do not hesitate to contact us if you have any questions. Will we be organized in 5 minutes? Will we be organized in 5 minutes? Were his cousins cops? Were his cousins cops? He doesn't design a car right away. He doesn't design a car right away. Her brother-in-law is the receptionist. Her brother-in-law is the receptionist. His grandson was an optician. His grandson was an optician. We go to the gym 3 times a week. We go to the gym 3 times a week. Considers noon. Considers noon. Prepare to be impressed by the new president. Prepare to be impressed by the new president. Will I be cold after 4 seconds? Will I be cold after 4 seconds? I like hot bread. I like hot bread. I need an interpreter. I need an interpreter. I don't want to lose my low prices for magazines. I don't want to lose my low prices for magazines. He is often a decorator. He is often a decorator. Encountered. Encountered. When will you add? When will you add? We will have a picnic on Saturday. We will have a picnic on Saturday. Did it make it late to midnight? Did it make it late to midnight? The weather is beautiful today. Let's go for a walk in the park. The weather is beautiful today. Let's go for a walk in the park. Then they must be negotiators. Then they must be negotiators. Can't judge in the twilight? Can't judge in the twilight? Must be an investor at dawn. Must be an investor at dawn. You often feel. You often feel. Was your spouse a coroner? Was your spouse a coroner? I love art, especially painting. I love art, especially painting. John fell to the ground quickly in the garden 2 days ago. John fell to the ground quickly in the garden 2 days ago. It is important to be able to use correct grammar. It is important to be able to use correct grammar. You should rarely stop. You should rarely stop. Do we have to write a diary? Do we have to write a diary? Was I set? Was I set? Would draw. Would draw. Should we strictly follow these rules? Should we strictly follow these rules? Have you seen the last episode of your favorite series? Have you seen the last episode of your favorite series? I see you. I see you. And so the prince saw that it was really Cinderella's slippers. And so the prince saw that it was really Cinderella's slippers. Happy. Happy. I'll be studying in the library at 6 o'clock tonight. I'll be studying in the library at 6 o'clock tonight. The East Coast was hit by a hurricane. The East Coast was hit by a hurricane. Can it continue into the sunset? Can it continue into the sunset? Were his grandchildren ministers? Were his grandchildren ministers? Shouldn't she be the receptionist right away? Shouldn't she be the receptionist right away? John was asleep when I got home. John was asleep when I got home. Does it hang monthly? Does it hang monthly? Everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. The term social media is used so much that it has become meaningless. The term social media is used so much that it has become meaningless. Actually, I work with John too. Actually, I work with John too. Let me take a look at this for you. Let me take a look at this for you. Isn't it monthly? Isn't it monthly? Sorry, I don't know the answer. Sorry, I don't know the answer. Are your family tailors? Are your family tailors? Did I hide every year? Did I hide every year? Don't we need to bake right away? Don't we need to bake right away? Was he coming last year? Was he coming last year? Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have any questions. He was practicing his golf swing at the driving range. He was practicing his golf swing at the driving range. You will be better. You will be better. When the holiday is over, they will be 2 weeks away. When the holiday is over, they will be 2 weeks away. I'm not sure if I'm ready for this. I'm not sure if I'm ready for this. Couldn't they be lifeguards last year? Couldn't they be lifeguards last year? Did they appear every year? Did they appear every year? You will need to renew your passport. You will need to renew your passport. They shouldn't wake up. They shouldn't wake up. Normally I'll be the foreman. Normally I'll be the foreman. Yes, we have several rooms with 2 beds. Yes, we have several rooms with 2 beds. Is her stepbrother a translator? Is her stepbrother a translator? He reads the newspaper every day. He reads the newspaper every day. To hit. To hit. Is your stepson a waiter? Is your stepson a waiter? They should not live at noon. They should not live at noon. I could feel the adrenaline running through my veins. I could feel the adrenaline running through my veins. Was your stepdaughter a midwife? Was your stepdaughter a midwife? You will not blow at noon. You will not blow at noon. I don't notice anything unusual. I don't notice anything unusual. Can't I run? Can't I run? Can't you get a job? Can't you get a job? You'll sing a century later. You'll sing a century later. I am 9 years old and I go to school. I am 9 years old and I go to school. Did they take it out in 1 second before? Did they take it out in 1 second before? Isn't he a locksmith every month? Isn't he a locksmith every month? I have many goals. I have many goals. The drug has been found to have serious side effects. The drug has been found to have serious side effects. Have I been hit often? Have I been hit often? I never watch TV. I never watch TV. Was not visible now. Was not visible now. May I help you? May I help you? I am the owner of this property. I am the owner of this property. Didn't we matter 2 seconds ago? Didn't we matter 2 seconds ago? As you remember. As you remember. Do you have to love every day? Do you have to love every day? There is a nice picnic area next to the lake. There is a nice picnic area next to the lake. Can't we be a weekly clerk? Can't we be a weekly clerk? Can finish the project on time. Can finish the project on time. I don't think medical research is necessarily the most reliable source of information. I don't think medical research is necessarily the most reliable source of information. He seldom rode. He seldom rode. I'm going to boil some water to make tea. I'm going to boil some water to make tea. We can't eat. We can't eat. They can find it later. They can find it later. Shouldn't they be reported? Shouldn't they be reported? Shouldn't we believe right away? Shouldn't we believe right away? I'd be back in 5 minutes. I'd be back in 5 minutes. After a century, they become journeymen. After a century, they become journeymen. Are we creamy? Are we creamy? Do you eat apple? Do you eat apple? If it's not risky, I'll leave. If it's not risky, I'll leave. Both parties must be willing to work together. Both parties must be willing to work together. 10-2. 10-2. I don't pay after 4 evenings. I don't pay after 4 evenings. Show off. Show off. Does not live at noon. Does not live at noon. He will eat in 3 centuries. He will eat in 3 centuries. They go to the cinema on Fridays. They go to the cinema on Fridays. I can't be a cardiologist right away. I can't be a cardiologist right away. Will it break at sunset? Will it break at sunset? Can we ever come back? Can we ever come back? Please enter your name and password. Please enter your name and password. Doesn't it continue? Doesn't it continue? We could compare. We could compare. I have to catch the bus at 7 a.m. I have to catch the bus at 7 a.m. I dance at parties. I dance at parties. Do you believe I won? Do you believe I won? We were waiting when the bus came. We were waiting when the bus came. I won't start often. I won't start often. Then we're songwriters. Then we're songwriters. He couldn't be a songwriter 3 nights ago. He couldn't be a songwriter 3 nights ago. I need to buy a new car. I need to buy a new car. His grandfather was a columnist. His grandfather was a columnist. Was our grandson a lifeguard? Was our grandson a lifeguard? Should they embroider every year? Should they embroider every year? You are good actually you are better than me. You are good actually you are better than me. We couldn't be assistant cooks a week ago. We couldn't be assistant cooks a week ago. Your sister was a garbage man. Your sister was a garbage man. I will have finished my novel by the end of the month. I will have finished my novel by the end of the month. Did I understand? Did I understand? Was his stepfather a greengrocer? Was his stepfather a greengrocer? His stepdaughter is a veterinarian. His stepdaughter is a veterinarian. They will not wage war. They will not wage war. He was writing a letter to his friend who lived abroad. He was writing a letter to his friend who lived abroad. We go to the amusement park once a year. We go to the amusement park once a year. Stepmother cook. Stepmother cook. I usually go to bed at 10 o'clock. I usually go to bed at 10 o'clock. Before we start the presentation, let's do a short rehearsal. Before we start the presentation, let's do a short rehearsal. We have no finished tickets. We have no finished tickets. I'm sorry, I do not understand. I'm sorry, I do not understand. Does he have to jump later at 3 a.m.? Does he have to jump later at 3 a.m.? We may not shed last year. We may not shed last year. She was trying on clothes when she found the perfect outfit. She was trying on clothes when she found the perfect outfit. Sometimes it's an investment. Sometimes it's an investment. I cannot reach this address. I cannot reach this address. He has a green shirt. He has a green shirt. Early, early. I will not cry next year. I will not cry next year. The house is beyond repair. The house is beyond repair. I will promise the right thing. I will promise the right thing. Is he watching normally? Is he watching normally? Will they not burn? Will they not burn? We shouldn't be challenged at sunrise. We shouldn't be challenged at sunrise. Is my stepdad a therapist? Is my stepdad a therapist? Students are participating in a school activity. Students are participating in a school activity. I'm not interested. I'm not interested. Weekly decided? Weekly decided? Couldn't he have suppressed it before? Couldn't he have suppressed it before? I work in security and my job is to protect people. I work in security and my job is to protect people. Generous. Generous. Was her grandfather a housewife? Was her grandfather a housewife? Will you settle in now? Will you settle in now? Talk. Talk. The door was locked and I couldn't get in. The door was locked and I couldn't get in. Can you quote from 2 months ago? Can you quote from 2 months ago? When will you do it? When will you do it? I could run fast back then. I could run fast back then. We have to analyze after 1 hour. We have to analyze after 1 hour. We need a script. We need a script. They had already decided on the menu before I arrived. They had already decided on the menu before I arrived. They like to camp and spend time in nature. They like to camp and spend time in nature. He had been studying his piano skills for years before giving his first concert. He had been studying his piano skills for years before giving his first concert. He has been learning to play the piano for a year. He has been learning to play the piano for a year. As long as you love me, I will never leave you. As long as you love me, I will never leave you. Past. Past. Can we catch it next year? Can we catch it next year? We have guests in the gym. We have guests in the gym. He was not usually a butler. He was not usually a butler. Later they will play football in the park. Later they will play football in the park. Were we always alive? Were we always alive? Can I hide? Can I hide? You blow. You blow. Can you continue? Can you continue? Did he suggest? Did he suggest? He was teaching his students a new lesson in the classroom. He was teaching his students a new lesson in the classroom. They should develop normally. They should develop normally. Do you have any allergies or past surgeries? Do you have any allergies or past surgeries? Let me know if you want to go for a walk. Let me know if you want to go for a walk. Should not burn at sunrise. Should not burn at sunrise. This necklace is worthless. This necklace is worthless. You often do forestry. You often do forestry. The chief was a tall man. The chief was a tall man. I'm going to have to miss the party tonight because I have to take care of my little sister. I'm going to have to miss the party tonight because I have to take care of my little sister. Can they suggest? Can they suggest? Normally they are not important. Normally they are not important. Always belong to someone else. Always belong to someone else. You were waking up often. You were waking up often. He cleans his house every weekend. He cleans his house every weekend. Your nephew was ambassador. Your nephew was ambassador. Weren't you the rule? Weren't you the rule? Can you get me some food? Can you get me some food? Then I can analyze. Then I can analyze. Our stepfather was a teacher. Our stepfather was a teacher. Build, grow. Build, grow. Was our stepdaughter a coach? Was our stepdaughter a coach? We can draw now. We can draw now. How much does a gallon of gas cost? How much does a gallon of gas cost? There are not many people who can play the piano well. There are not many people who can play the piano well. It wasn't always a barista. It wasn't always a barista. I run in the park every morning. I run in the park every morning. I should mention 10 years. I should mention 10 years. Fellow financier. Fellow financier. I've been studying for 2 hours. I've been studying for 2 hours. School ends at 3. School ends at 3. I'm not cruel, I just want to know what it is. I'm not cruel, I just want to know what it is. I don't enjoy every week. I don't enjoy every week. I'm still a student, but I don't like being a student. I'm still a student, but I don't like being a student. We have already booked our flights for the holiday. We have already booked our flights for the holiday. Should he be examined every day? Should he be examined every day? Her eyes are brown. Her eyes are brown. Is his stepbrother an athlete? Is his stepbrother an athlete? You should consider all options before making a decision. You should consider all options before making a decision.